So on the induction section, Pete starts teaching the drop back induction, and he makes out that he's come up with his own ways of doing it, but I'm sorry, as screenshots I've got on file show, after he attended my show in 2011 at Geyser's Dolls, which if we just go here, I want you to see something, okay? Let's have a look. I want you to see this woman here. You see that t-shirt? I'm going to go in a bit clearer there. Okay, her shirt there. It's important you notice that because that's the same there. The reason being is because that is a photograph taken at the venue where this is. So just watch this for a split second. Feet together, hands by your side. There's already somebody, sadly, they didn't get caught on camera, but I'm saying feet together, hands by your side. And I'm doing the drop back induction. Unfortunately, you can't see it on somebody off camera. But as you can see, I let the audience hear what's being said. Oh, and you can see, and down like a sack of shit. Very impressive. Pete Turner's sat over that direction, as the photographic evidence will show, learning and observing from this.
Drifting down, sinking down, that's fantastic. I do. Just stand up for more.
Again, note what I'm wearing, note what she is. Unfortunately, she is off camera, but the fact is you can hear what I'm saying to her.
You can stand stiff or rigid until I come to you, but keep looking at that light. Everyone else keeps staring at the light. I'm going to count backwards from 10 down to 1.
I'm just going to fast forward ever so slightly because I knocked them out.
Unless I say otherwise. Everyone keeping their eyes tightly closed at all times unless I say otherwise. I'm going to one final time count rapidly backwards from 10 down to 1. Gentlemen here. I know, take a nice deep breath in. And
you don't see it because she's off screen, but I did a drop back on her. There's just before I do the drop back on her, as you can see. There she is out of it on the floor. And then there's some photos from the same venue, Geyser's Dolls, from August the 14th, 2011. It's proven in the other review videos on this page. That's me getting various people to be the world's greatest male strippers. This is the second half of the show where I've changed out my suit. And yes, indeed, people end up down to, oh look, there's somebody in their boxer shorts. The reason I mention this is because on the How to Control Mindset, Peter Turner relates a tale and he said he won't mention the name of the hypnotist and that he saw a hypnotist get people to get the kit off and somebody was left with their boxer shorts on, and afterwards that person was going mad and was upset about being body positive and why did the friends let them do it. The truth of the matter is that when I wake all these people up at the end of the show, I tell them they'll wonder what the bloody hell they've been doing. They'll be really shocked about it. They'll be really naffed off with the friends, although they will not become violent. They're just acting to the last suggestion, but I tell them that the very moment that they go to the toilet or go outside the building, that final suggestion will also be completely cancelled out and they'll feel better in every possible way than they did before and they'll not be bothered about it and they'll feel really fantastic. So I slightly missed out some elements of what actually went on there, unfortunately. But there again, he does seem to have a bad memory because he doesn't seem to recall that the photograph there was taken by either my wife or my bodyguard, Big Steve, or both of them actually took photographs that look very, very similar. That was used in the Dice Man documentary. And as you can see there, that's during the show with Pete watching on, and again, during the show with Pete watching on. The point is that after this show, which took place on the 14th of August 2011, the following day, the 15th of August, Pete emailed me, and I've got the screenshots on file, and there was numerous communications over days, weeks and months, and I sent him DVDs teaching him how to do the drop back induction, other inductions, other hypnosis stuff. And I've got on file also, of course, the emails where he's thanking me for this and where he said that up to that point he knew little, if anything, about hypnosis. So it seems that some of his memory about times might be wrong in How to Control Minds. How strange. Oh, this is hilarious. At least he's told us that the drop back induction's potentially dangerous, and it is potentially dangerous, but this is hilarious. Watch. Audio muted for this demonstration as the other spectators would not hear this in performance. Why? What have you got to hide? They hear it when I do a show, quite often over the mic, and in different shows. I've been using this technique now for what? Since 1990. Numerous different ways of doing it. And I teach numerous different ways of doing it in the transparency template. Details are on the page above or below this video, including ways that, as long as you do them the way it's taught, are much safer than what you just saw and much safer than what Pete Turner teaches. You're about to hear Peter Turner say he's never seen anyone use this technique. Yet, I use it, and pretty damn certain I used it as Guys as Dolls, but if not, I've used it in other shows that I sent copies of to Pete in the past. And it's taught on DVDs that I sent to Pete in 2011 after he'd attended at my Guys and Dolls show, which is where the picture of him with Chris Lee in the audience was taken, that appears in Dice Man. And, well...
I'd use the touch from touching on Hoy on each of the spectators. But instead of going into...
Remember, in the advert for Auman's Biggest Secret Revealed, it also says that you'll learn the To a Bad Subjects ploy, which is taught on Transparency Template. Loads of others. Loads of my products it's taught on. To a Bad Subjects ploy, which arguably is the forerunner to touching on hypnosis and touching on Hoy technique. And, well...
Like, oh, the person that just felt me touch the finger of a shape, the person who touched... What I do is that same routine, touching on Hoy practically. But I'd say, I'd openly touch one person, and I'd go, the person that just felt me touch them, you're going to be the star of tonight's show. If you ever see anybody trying to upstage you, you'll do your best to be twice as good as them and twice as loud and twice as proud as them. So
basically, it's the To a Bad Subjects ploy to the nth degree. But that's explained in Transparency Template and tons of my other products. There's nothing new here, so to speak. So, I started doing stage hypnosis performances, entertainment hypnosis, in 1990 when I was 15 years of age. I'd already been doing hypnotherapy from 1989 at the age of 14. And I've been in show business from the age of 3 and a bit as Flop the Clown on Gandhi's Circus. In any event, 1990, to clarify, according to this, Pete Turner was born on the 26th of the 10th, 87, meaning that in 1990, he was, by October 1990, he was 3 years old. Whereas I was 15 years old and I was already doing this in shows.
This is an imaginary gun. It just works like a kind of hypnotic gun. Sleep, relax, drifting down, sinking down.
Hypnotic gun. I only mention this because induction section of How to Control Minds.
Inductions of all time. And normally when you've hypnotised somebody properly, and we're talking about real hypnosis, you could do the PK gun. So you say, I'm going to point a gun at you, and when I pull the trigger, you're going to fall into a deep sleep. Watch. And now you can stand 6 feet away and go, boom, and the person will just drop down, right? And I think that looks great.
Wonder where he got the idea from. I mean, it could have been that he got it from observing Chris Lee do it, because he does it as well. But there again, I taught Chris Lee in the very early 90s. And as indeed, arguably, provably via links you can find on my page, I've taught more of the successful working stage hypnotists and street hypnotists and hypnosis to magicians and mentalists in the world than any living trainer today. All very odd. Anyway, there's more of a review at the link above or below this video.
The guy called Pete Power, which were an Australian hypnotist, really brilliant hypnotist, and there were Dean St. James, which were again...
No, there was Martin St. James, and there was Peter Powers, and Peter Powers is British. He just happens to now live in Australia, but simple things, simple Google search would tell you. This was apparently 10 years ago.
That a paragraph down had that one trigger word. And so I've been reading this incredible book. Like, you take it, start reading it. So now this person would read it to themselves, and when they hit that trigger word, they'd fall asleep inside the book. And I'd say, well, isn't that boring? You know what I mean? And I'd have a bit of a joke and I'd get a laugh. But I'd also, like, set up little things. Like, let's say there's one person on the end here. Like, I mean, we're going back 10 years. I've learned a lot. I've been a lot more respectful as a person now than I was 10 years ago. But I used to love this.
So 10 years ago, it's currently 20th of March 2022. 10 years ago would be 20th of March 2012. But we have to bear in mind that this was made, I believe, in 2021. So we're going back 10 years from 2021, let's say the middle of 2021, to go back to, take 10 years off, would be 2011. So about 2010, 2011. Interestingly, if you look at the blog page link below here, 2011 is when the photograph was taken of Pete with Chris Lee at my short guys as dolls, where he'd come to observe. And shortly after that, I've got screenshots on file where he categorically tells me he knows little, if anything, about hypnosis, and I send him training DVDs to learn from and such. So all seems a bit... You might have got your timeline wrong there, possibly, I think.